Hello everyone, and thank you all for joining us today for part one of our webinar series, How to Build, Promote, and Grow Your Online Business. Today we'll be dealing with the build portion of the webinar. My name is Henry Suarez, and I'm the product manager here at 3D Cart, where it's my job to present the KB articles and various training materials for everyone, and hopefully this video serves as one of those as well. Now, many of you that watch this webinar are either brand new customers or currently using the demo version of 3D Cart to see what we have to offer. So I'd like to take a special moment to welcome you all to 3D Cart. Now, as the title of the webinar suggests, our purpose is to go over some of the basic tools available to you with 3D Cart and hopefully get you started in running your stores. Excuse me. Now, as you can see by the slide, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to give me an email. As you can see by the slide, the email address is simply henry@3dcart.com. Now, since a lot of you are new to 3D Cart, I just wanted to go over some brief info about our company so that you can get to know us a little bit better. We launched 3D Cart in 1997. The gentlemen that founded the company were originally customizing, and in some cases they were actually developing shopping cart software for their very own merchant customers. And after doing this for a little bit of time, they noticed the demand for specific features that their clients kept asking for over and over again. Specifically, an all-in-one solution that was easy to use, it was customizable, and didn't really require a degree in programming to master. They weren't able to find a commercial solution for their own clients, so they built one, and they called it 3D Cart, and we've been growing ever since. Now, one of the things you'll notice about us is that we take our customer feedback very, very seriously. In fact, most of our features that are available in the cart right now actually came about through customer interactions and recommendations, so believe me when I say we listen to our customer feedback. Well, when we began researching for this webinar series, we wanted to address the most common startup questions that merchants had when they first began setting up their stores. We polled our customers and we asked them what their main challenges were starting out. This slide here shows us the top 5 answers. The first one, getting started. Merchants had a tough time knowing where to begin. They'd have this overwhelming collection of features available to them and not really know where to start. Number 2 on the list, building the store. Harking back to the overwhelming nature of some carts, merchants weren't sure which tools were right for them when adding a product and payment options and whatnot. Number 3 on the list was designing the store. With a lot of shopping carts, merchants ran into design issues where they felt they'd have to hire a web designer just to make a basic change. Number 4 on the list was SEO, search engine optimization, and social media. Again, this was something that most merchants felt they needed external help with, so they'd hire a quote-unquote SEO expert and not really see any difference in their rankings at all. And last but not least, managing the store. Merchants were so frustrated with the amount of time they spent dealing with the first 4 topics on this list that at the end of the day, they didn't have time to actually manage the store. So for today's webinar, we're going to discuss some of the options available to you as merchants and hopefully help relieve some of these stresses. Throughout this series, we're going to go over building the store using some of the tools available to you. We'll also show you a couple of ways in which you can add products to your store. In later videos, we'll go through the tools that are available to you to help promote the store and get that traffic to it. And the last video of our series will show you some of the tools you can use for the growth aspect of your store. When your store takes off to that next level and you need a little bit more automation on the back end instead of you doing all of the legwork. So for today's video, we're going to specify building the store. So it's usually the most daunting portion for everybody, so we're just going to jump right into it. Let's log into our test account here real quick so we can get a look at the 3D Cart interface. All right, so this is the 3D Cart interface. It goes by lots of different names. Some people call it the control panel. Some people call it the admin. Its official name is the online store manager. So if you ever hear me say admin, control panel, this is the section that I mean. Now, when you first log into the 3D Cart online store manager, you'll be presented with a 30-day snapshot of how your store is doing. This store is a test account that is practically brand new, so there's obviously no sales traffic on it. Your stores will look vastly different in the months to come. Now, at the very top, you'll have some navigation elements, but the majority of your time will be spent on these navigation elements over on the left-hand side. This is probably where you'll spend 95% of your time. But as I mentioned, there are some navigation elements at the top here. The one I really want to showcase, though, is the View Store button. When you click that, What it does is it opens up a separate tab specifically showing you your website as your customers would see it. However, since you are logged in as an administrator for the site, you have access to this little bar all the way at the bottom. We call that the quick design bar, and it helps you make changes to your site pretty much on the fly as you're viewing the store. There's a series of icons at the bottom right corner of that bar. The first one looks like an artist palette and brush. That is your design editor. This is where you can make design changes to your site. For example, let's say as a merchant, I wanted my screen, my site to fill the complete screen width. Well, I would just go here and click on 100%, and it'll update it for me automatically. I could also remove design elements completely from the store. For example, let's say I didn't want to showcase new releases. Well, I would just go here and uncheck new releases, and there it goes. If I didn't want to have my pricing groups listed, there they go. And if I didn't want to have mailing lists, there they go. So it's real easy to make these changes. Now, all the 3D cart templates typically have a left banner and a right banner with individual design elements contained within those banners. Well, we also have a drag and drop mode that when you turn it on, it'll add these little manipulator icons to the individual design elements within the banner. And from that point, it's just really a matter of clicking and dragging it to wherever you see fit. And once you turn off the drag and drop mode, it sets your changes right away. And last but not least, you could also select different themes for your site. You'll see this is the default theme, the Welcome to 3D Cart theme. It pretty much everybody starts off with it. You'll also have a button that lets you select additional themes. When you click on that, what it does is it opens up a separate window that takes you directly to the theme selector of the 3D Cart interface. Now you'll notice there's a series of tabs here. There's available templates, and then there's installed templates. The reason we have those two specific tabs is because all of the 3D Cart templates are 100% customizable. So when you select a template from this area and install it to your site, it goes into this tab. And as I mentioned, they're all 100% customizable, but if you ever make a mistake and you need to revert back to the original template, it's simply a matter of going here to this Available Templates tab, reselecting it, and you're all set. It's kind of a safety feature that we have. Selecting a template is real easy. All you really do is once you have your template in mind, click on the Install button. The 3D Cart interface will say the template's been downloaded, would you like to install it, which basically means, would you like to apply it? I'm going to say yes. And let it do its thing. We're going to close these windows, and there's our brand new template. Real easy to make these changes. You don't need to go out of your way to hire a designer to do this for you. It's kind of built into the store. And again, that's all under the first icon, which is the design editor. The second icon looks like two capital A's there. That's your product or content editor. Now with the content editor, you can either edit your home page, add additional content pages. I'm going to use this tool to show you how to add a logo to your site. Under Advanced Tools, you'll see a link that says Header and Footer. When you click on that, similarly, it opens up a separate window directly to the Header and Footer section of the 3D Cart Online Manager. You'll see three fields here. There's a section for store name, store slogan, and a store logo. And on this particular template, that information is being stored right up here at the top left corner. Some templates have it in the center, some templates have it in the far right. For this particular one, we'll have it on the far left. Now, to specify a logo, all you really need to do is browse to your image, which we're going to do right now. I already have one pre-uploaded here just to save some time. Let's click on Save Changes. And once we close out of all of these windows, there's our brand new logo added to the site. Now, one thing I want to point out, let's go back to that section. This top left-hand corner here is controlled by these three fields. Now you'll notice that there's no longer a store name and a store slogan on there. The reason for that is because it is a finite amount of space. So once you add a logo, it pretty much overwrites whatever's in these two fields right here. Now the common question is, well, what if I wanted to have a slogan with my logo? Well, there's a couple of different options you can use. The easiest, less headache method is basically to create a logo that already has the slogan on it. That way you're specifying one image that already has it. The second way of doing it is through HTML coding. Beneath these three fields, there's a section called Global Header. By default, we have it turned off, but this one section here will control that whole top portion of the 3dcart template. Whatever I type in here, as soon as I enable it, it will be listed in this top-hand corner and overwrite whatever is in these three fields. Now, this particular area will take either straight text or HTML coding. Now, if you don't know HTML, there's nothing to worry about. We have what's called a WYSIWYG mode. WYSIWYG is actually an old computer acronym. It stands for what you see is what you get. And it's kind of a fun word to say, so let's turn on the WYSIWYG mode so you can see what it does. Once you turn it on, what it does is it adds an environment to that area where you would normally put text, and it turns it into almost like a word processing type of an environment where you can format your text and whatever you do in there. You'll notice that there's a button for image. I'm going to click that, and we're going to specify that logo image that we just added a little while ago. Let's insert it. There's our logo, and beneath that, we're going to write our slogan. And since I'm using the WYSIWYG mode, I can format this text. Let's give it a nice thick font. Let's make it a little bit larger. Oh, just a smidgen larger than that. Actually, there we go. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to colorize our text so that it matches our color theme a little bit better. The really cool thing about the WYSIWYG mode is if you turn it off after formatting all of your stuff, it actually shows you all of the HTML that was created with that. Believe it or not, a lot of our merchants have actually learned basic HTML just through the WYSIWYG mode. So keep that in mind if you want to learn a little bit of HTML. So let's enable that. And as I mentioned earlier, once I enable this and save it, it's practically going to overwrite all of these fields here. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's take a look at our progress. There we go. Maybe I should pick a different color font, but as you can see, there's my logo with my HTML formatted text. Probably a brighter color would have been better there. Let's go ahead and change that color real quick. Once again, that's under the content editor, header and footer. Let's turn on WYSIWYG mode real quick, and let's change that color. That might be a little too bright, but let's see how it looks. There we go. So as you can see, it's real easy to make these changes. You don't need to hire a web designer. Web designers can work pretty easily with us as well if you need more robust editing, but it's pretty much built into the store for the most part. And again, that's under the content editor and header and footer. The next section I want to showcase is the product editor. This is the way you can add products to your store basically right from the storefront. I'm going to go over 3 of the main ways of adding products to your store, and that'll be the final portion of our build video. This particular method is the easiest. It's adding a product right from the storefront. It comes in very handy if you have a quick product that came in and you absolutely must have it on the store right away. You can use this product editor for it. It's also kind of neat because it shows you the product as it's being developed, because you're seeing it from the storefront. Now, the first thing you might want to do is add a category. Now, for the purpose of this webinar, let's say I'm selling cellular phones. We're going to create a category for a particular brand of cell phones, and that is HTC brand. And when I click on the Add Category button, a couple of things are going to happen. First, the store is going to take me directly to the category itself. It's going to add the category to my menu tree up here. And thirdly, it's going to take me to the quick editor for the category, where I can either add additional subcategories to it or just start diving in and adding products right away. So the product I'm going to add here is a brand new phone that I got in stock, and that is the HTC Wildfire phone. Retails for about $300. And the SKU number, oh, let's just make something up. Once I click on Add Product, it's going to do a similar thing as the category. It's going to take me to the product page, and it's going to open up the quick editor to the product so that I can further refine it. For example, you can see that the item is on back order. That's simply because I haven't specified an inventory stock for it. So let's remedy that and add 80 units. I'm going to apply changes, and that availability should change to in stock. Next thing we're going to do is add an image, because nothing sells a product like an image does. When you click on the Change Image link, the store is going to give you two different options. The first option it's going to give you is select an image I've already uploaded, or select an image from your computer, which basically means browse your desktop for the image. For the purposes of saving time, I already have an image uploaded here. So let's grab that. Here it is. All right, so there's the image of our product. And just by having the product or the image specified for the product, the 3D cart interface is also going to use that same image and shrink it down for thumbnail purposes. If you have your own thumbnails that you prefer to use, well, you can just simply uncheck that box. Most people will leave it checked, though. So let's update our product. And there's our product image. And by default, we'll have this feature turned on, which is called 3D Zoom. And basically what it does is it takes the large version of the image and it zooms to it as soon as the mouse is hovered over it. If the shopper were to click on the image, it pops out for them. All right, so our product is coming along rather nicely. You could also further refine the product by adding options and additional images and whatnot here in the Advanced Tools sections. And as you can see, this is a really neat way of adding products pretty much on the fly, just right from your storefront. Now, I'm going to segue into the second method of adding products, and that's from the back end, the 3D Cart Online Store Manager. So let's close this real quick, and let's go to the Store Manager. Now, to add a product from the back end, you simply go to Products and View and Edit, and it will show you all of your products and in chronological order. Now, if you add a new product or you're editing an existing product, you're pretty much taken to the same pages. So let's further refine our HTC Wildfire that we just created here, just so you can see all of the different tabs that we have for the product editing. The first tab that you go to is the Information tab. This is where you can specify your ID and SKU number for the product, the name of the product, a short description, which comes in very handy for SEO purposes. So let's say HTC's full-featured Android phone. That'll be our quick little short description. I can add additional categories for the product. I can edit my pricing structure. One thing I like to point out to our merchants is this field, the cost field. The cost field is simply what the product costs you as a merchant. It's not a number that your customers will ever see. It's simply there for reporting purposes. So let's say, for argument's sake, this phone, I get it for $200. Retail price on the phone. Well, let's say it really sells for about $350 everywhere else. I sell it for $50 cheaper, and on sale, if I ever had a sale, I would make it $250. Those are pretty conservative numbers, so let's click on Save there. I could also edit my inventory options for the product. And last but not least, I can start adding a description to the product. Now, a second ago, you saw me add a short description. Well, this short description is just really a little bit of a blurb for the product. It comes in handy for SEO purposes. The description area, though, that's where you can really showcase the item. You can have paragraphs describing the product, all of the individual bulleted features of the product. This particular area will take either straight text or HTML. And again, if you don't know HTML, you have the WYSIWYG mode at your disposal, so that'll come in handy. Let's go ahead and add some HTML that I have pre-formatted here, just so you can see what it'll look like. There we go, and let's turn on WYSIWYG mode so you can get a preview of what that HTML will look like. It's just basically bulleted facts about the product. And down here you'll have a section for keywords. Keywords also come into play for SEO purposes, most notably for your internal search engine on the store itself, but also for external search engines like Google or Yahoo. Keywords and phrases should be separated with a comma, so let's add a few here. There we go, and they're all separated with commas. And let's click Save. Now let's take a look at our product to see how it's coming along. Another little tip that I like to give our merchants is this link. Whenever you're editing or adding a new product from the store manager like this, you'll have a catalog ID to the product as well as a link directly to the product. This comes in very, very handy if you happen to have a product that resides within a subcategory of another subcategory of another subcategory. Comes in very handy. Instead of you having to navigate your own store just to see the product, click here, and it should take you right directly to it. There we go. All right, so here's our product image, our pricing information, and here's that description we just added. And that's all done under the Information tab. The next tab we have is the Images tab. That's where you'll be able to specify images for your products. Here's that image we added a little while ago, as well as its thumbnail. Now this particular cell phone also has a camera on the back side of it. So I'd like to showcase that by adding an additional image of the rear view of the camera. So let's go ahead and browse to that image. Again, I already uploaded it just to save time. And let's update that image there and click Save. You'll also notice that there is a button here called Browse YouTube. This is actually a neat little feature. What it does is it will take the name of the product and browse on YouTube for any videos about the product. This comes in very handy if you happen to sell commercial products. Well, you can also add a video of the commercial to your product listing page. Could be a demonstration video. On the flip side of things, let's say it's not a commercial product. Let's say it's a product that you manually create, a custom-made product. Well, you can have your own video uploaded to YouTube of showing the product's creation process. Clicking on Browse YouTube, again, it will take the name of the product, and we'll do a quick search for it. Here's a good one, a review. Select the video. And what it does is it'll add the link to the video as well as all of the necessary embed code for the video. Let's click on Save there. And now let's take a look at our product. There we go. So here's our product, and here's our two images for the product, the front view and the rear view of it. If I click on the second image, it does a little bit of a fading out effect and also has the 3D zoom capability to it. Beneath that is our pricing, there's our description, and here's that video we just added. And that's again done under the Images tab. The next tab is the Options tab. This is where you can specify all the different options available to the product. For example, if you're selling clothing, different sizes, different colors, things of that nature. For our little HTC Wildfire here, we actually have color selections available to it. So we're going to add an option, and the first Add Option button, what it does is it allows you to label the option, basically in this case, the color selection. I'm going to click Add. I can also specify the type of selection it will be. The default is a drop-down menu. I'm kind of partial to radio buttons, so we're going to go with that. And let's click Add. Now, once I click Add to the main option label, again, this is just a label, now it's going to let me specify the different individual options. So, in this case, our colors, this particular phone comes in silver, which is the standard color. It also comes in black. And last but not least, it also comes in a very bright fire truck red. So, now the fire red color is actually about $10 more than the base price. So for value, I'm going to add a 10 to it. And let's click Add. There we go. So let's save all of this. And let's go to our product and have a look at it. Okay, so here's the product. There's the images, the pricing, and here's the options for the product. If I select silver or black, you'll notice that nothing happens to the price here. However, if I select the red, it makes it $310. This is an option you can turn on or off, however you see fit. We usually find that it's better to keep it on because it helps avoid surprises at the final checkout phases. Shoppers like to know that everything's normal with their pricing. So if you'd like to remove this, it's all done under the store settings area, but we recommend keeping it on just to keep people informed of everything and hopefully have less abandoned carts at the end. All right, moving on to the next tab, we have the Related tab. This is where you'll be able to cross-merchandise your products. There's two options. They're basically just labels, but they're there just for your own benefit, so you can kind of keep track of them. There's related items, and then there's upselling items. I'll briefly describe the logic between the two. Essentially, they do the same thing, though. Now, what is a related product? Well, think about it. Whenever you're in one of the big box stores, let's say you're at Target or Walmart or something, whatever aisle you happen to be in, usually there'll be a related item on the end cap of the aisle. For example, if you're looking at bed sheets, you're in a full aisle full of bed sheets and blankets and whatnot, but when you get to the end, there's going to be an end cap that has pillowcases. Very similar product. It's a related item to it. Well, with 3D Cart, you can do that. So for our related products here, I happen to sell also the memory cards that this particular phone uses. I have a 4 GB as well as an 8 GB memory card. So those will be my related products. Now, upselling items. It's essentially the same thing. However, upselling, it's labeled that way because the whole logic behind an upsell product is it's a product that maximizes your profit potential. Let's put it this way. Let's say you're at a electronics stores or a camera store. The camera costs you $150, and with it you buy a $30 camera case. Well, what you may not realize is that the markup on the camera is actually very low, whereas on that camera case it only costs the store maybe $5. So they're making the larger percentage of their profit on the camera case rather than the camera itself. That's an example of an upselling item. Well, for our little store here, we're also going to have some upselling items. I happen to have a Bluetooth earpiece, which I sell for $26, but I only get it for about $6, as well as a stylus pen that I sell for $12.50, but it cost me just a couple of dollars. There we go. So let's save those changes. Now let's take a look at our product. All right, so here's our product. There's our images, our pricing, our options, description, video, and finally we have our related items, and rather than blatantly label it upsell items, we call them accessories on the storefront. So as you can see, it's real easy to add these products. Now, the third way of adding a product is by far the most popular, and that is through the use of CSV codes or CSV files. Now, obviously, as you can see, this might be very tedious if you happen to have hundreds of products, creating one manually and going through all the different tabs. So for that, we have export files. If you go to Products, all the way at the very bottom, there is Export and Import. And what you can do here is you can generate a CSV, a comma-separated value file of your product line. And basically what it is, it's a spreadsheet file. Every row is a product, and it has various columns that correspond to most of those settings in the tabs. Now, what I usually recommend to our users is to create one product manually, just like I did with all the different tabs. Once you have that one product, fill it up to the brim. Every field that you can find, put something in it. The reason I say that is because once you have that one product created, you can come to this section and export your data. And once you have that CSV file generated, you can see what all of those individual columns correspond to. I'll give you an example. I believe I have a spreadsheet here that we can take a look at. Yeah, here we are. So as you can see, this is basically what the CSV file will look like in your spreadsheet program. This is the stylus pen that I just added as a related item. And using that, I specified the rest of my product information, the cost, the price, all of this information. Let's close that. Now, adding it is as simple as browsing to the file and importing it. Let's insert an update. I just inserted 5 products all in one shot. Now let's look at our product listings. And here we are. We have the camera options that I have as well. So if you have hundreds, if not thousands of products, by far the CSV option is the easiest way to go. But still, I recommend at least creating 1 or 2 manual products just so you can see what all of those individual columns correspond to. Now, unfortunately for the purposes of time, I can't go through every single facet of the 3D cart interface because it is very robust. However, we do have a couple of tools built into the administration side of things that help you along the way. For example, you may have noticed a lot of these product tab areas will have these little information icons on them. And they're there because we call them information bubbles. When you hover over them, they give you a brief description of what those fields are looking for. In the case of cost, retail price, and price, it's giving you a brief synopsis of what it's looking for. It comes in very handy when adding products manually like this, but you'll find that most of the pages have these information bubbles on them, so keep an eye out for those. And secondly, we also have this button here on the left-hand side, the Need Help button. What that does is when you click on it, it will link you to all of the various KB articles, tutorials, videos, everything we've created over the years to help you with the creation of your store. Now, the really cool thing about the Need Help button, though, is that it's tailored specifically to the page that you happen to be on at that moment. For example, I'm looking at a product right now, so all of the tutorials that I'm seeing are unique to products. Whereas if I were in the Promotion Manager, all of the tutorials I would see there are for promotions. So as you can see, if you ever get lost, look for those information bubbles and also look for the Need Help button. And of course, we also have 24-hour tech support. So it's available through email, through chat, and through telephone. So if you ever get lost and stuck somewhere, look for all 3 of those, the information bubbles, the Need Help button, and always feel free to give our tech support guys a call. So that about does it for this portion of the webinar, the build portion. I want to thank you all for watching today, and up next in our next video, we'll go through the promotion aspects of your store, which is basically promoting your store and driving traffic to it, because once you get those visitors coming to your store, it's just a simple matter of getting them to buy from your store. So stay tuned for that next video, and thanks again for hearing us out. Bye-bye.